House Republicans, meanwhile, finally getting on the same page yesterday, unanimously electing Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson as the next new Speaker of the House. Johnson is the son of a firefighter, supports the impeachment of Joe Biden, voted against last month's Ukraine funding request, and opposes continuing resolutions. He also defended former President Trump in both of his impeachment trials. Johnson delivered this message after the victory. Watch.
Let the enemies of freedom around the world hear us loud and clear. The People's House is back in business.
Joining me right now is New York Congressman Nick Langworthy, a member of the House Oversight Committee. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. Your expectations for Mike Johnson?
Well, it's a great day on Capitol Hill. We're back in business, just like Speaker Johnson said. We're excited. This has been a long ordeal, but I think we finally have the right leader, and I think that the time chose the leader more than the leader choosing his time here. He united our conference. You even looked across the aisle and saw quite a few standing ovations from the Democrats on the other side. So we are at very challenging times, but we really have to get back to work, and Speaker Johnson's prepared to do it.
Yeah, I want to get your take on what the priorities are now. What do you have 25 days or so before the November 17th deadline? Are you going to be able to get these appropriations bills done? And what is the priority in Congress right now?
Well, the priority is keeping the government open. Speaker Mike Johnson yesterday recalibrated our calendar. We're going to get to work in a very serious way to finish this appropriations process. And we have 8 more appropriations bills that we have to pass to fund this government. And we're going to go at a record speed all the way to Thanksgiving. And we have a plan to go get that done. So we're starting today. We're going to work next week. The recess time has been eliminated. And we're rolling up our sleeves and getting back to work. We have lost time. We have 22 days that we frittered away on a speaker fight that didn't have to happen. But now we have a new leader, a new speaker, and he means business. And I'm excited about it.
I want to get back to the priority in a moment. But New York Congressman Jamal Bowman facing a misdemeanor charge this morning for pulling the fire alarm in the congressional building last month. We all watched this in horror. That was ahead of the vote to avert a government shutdown. Bowman is expected to plead guilty. Congressman, your reaction?
He's a disgrace. I mean, frankly, Jamal Bowman, the fact that he would endanger and incite people just to delay a vote. This was really to delay official proceedings of the U.S. Congress. We had caught the Democrats flat-footed. We had them where they did not want to vote for our plan to keep the government funded. They wanted to vote for their plan. And this stupid, selfish move, he pulls a fire alarm. He could have endangered an awful lot of people. It's selfish. He should be censured on top of his guilty plea.
I mean, how ridiculous. But in Johnson's first act as Speaker, the House did approve that resolution backing Israel, condemning Hamas yesterday. 9 Democrats and 1 Republican opposed the resolution. 6 Democrats voted present. The resolution coming as there is concern about rising anti-Semitism in this country. People in New York City are actually tearing down posters of missing Israelis in the face of war and atrocities on Israel. Congressman, your thoughts on this move and whether or not Biden is going to get what he wants, and that is mixing money to Israel with money to Ukraine?
Well, we should have passed this resolution the day after the attacks. We should have flown back to Washington to do that. We couldn't do it because of the lack of a Speaker of the House. So it's far time that we did that. The fact that, 9 of my colleagues didn't vote for it, voted directly against it. Plenty of them, very cowardly voted present. I think it speaks a lot to their character in this. This is a battle of good versus evil. This is not something to equivocate on. The United States stands with the state of Israel. They have every right to defend themselves, and we should never waver in our support for Israel. I strongly support funding for Israel to support them following these terrorist attacks. We need to get to work on this, but I have great caution when looking at anything that the president's sending over here, to use this tragedy to leverage an awful lot of additional funding for the Ukraine war. I support the Ukraine. Putin's a butcher. He's a murderer. The mission is a good one and one that's noble. But we can't have a blank check. In our European allies in NATO, they need to live up to their commitments before I'm prepared to start voting for more monies for the Ukraine war. We need a clear objective for the American people, too, that their money's not just going into an endless pit, that there's clear accounting, clear Inspector General reports on that. But we should decouple these 2 topics right away.
Okay, so you've got the business at hand, appropriations, the money to Israel. You'll deal with Ukraine. I want to ask you about the investigations. the impeachment inquiry, for example. Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley sent a letter to FBI Director Christopher Wray saying that his office has received information that proves the FBI had more than 40 confidential sources on various criminal matters related to Joe Biden, James Biden, and Hunter Biden. Grassley charged that instead of investigating those allegations, officials at the FBI with the Foreign Influence Task Force seeked out FBI offices across the country and tried to discredit that as foreign disinformation. I spoke with James Comer, the head of the Oversight Committee, yesterday, talking about this check that was sent directly to Joe Biden from Jim Biden, and, of course, the tens of millions of dollars that we've heard about, according to the Oversight Committee, that the Biden family has accepted, in many cases from our foreign adversaries like China. Where does this investigation stand, and will you subpoena Hunter Biden?
Well, this investigation marches forward. I'm proud to serve on the Oversight Committee under the leadership of our chairman, James Comer, and I think he has articulated and shown what the media chastised us about all summer is that we didn't have money going directly to the president. Now we've shown money directly to the president, and I hate to break it to you, there's more to come. We have had a weaponization of government. There's a two-tiered system of justice, clearly one for Biden's and Clinton's and then one for the rest of us. What you laid out, going into the question here, there's evidence piling up that they've had different agencies covering up for this family. None of them are registered foreign agents. None of them had expertise. They haven't explained how they got this money, why they were qualified to be paid this money, and now it is going into Joe Biden's direct personal bank accounts. This investigation marches forward. I know people get impatient, but we have to remind them we only took the gavel back in January, late January at that. We are marching forward, collecting the facts for the American people, and we are going to show for the whole world whether or not our president is compromised by foreign entities.
And is the conference unified in terms of if that evidence proves correct, then you will impeach Joe Biden?
Well, I think that we have not had that greater discussion. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of distraction here for the last month talking about who's going to lead this conference.
Right.
But I know that our speaker is one that wants the facts. He's a proud member of the Judiciary Committee under Jim Jordan.
Yeah.
And we have I think, a common mission here.
Okay, we'll leave it there. We'll be watching your work, Congressman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nick Langworthy this morning in D.C.